Hey, greetings everybody, it's Gleekon here again with another episode of Lore of Warcraft. On our last episode, we've been building up what Illidan is up to and how he's kind of working with the Legion, and how his goal becomes kill the Lich King. Stay a while and listen as we read the next part of this. It's called the Eye of Sargeras, or Sargeras. I think I heard one of the videos say. I don't like that. I'm gonna need to hear it a few more times before I buy in. This should be our last episode before we start the game. I think this will get us up to speed enough that we can start the Sentinel campaign, which basically covers this material. Here we go. With the help of his new allies, Illidan Stormrage crossed the Great Sea and reached the Broken Isles. He had grown up in the region, but that had been long before the Great Sundering. Time and isolation had changed the Broken Isles. Illidan sensed and saw many intriguing creatures prowling the shores, but he did not indulge his curiosity. Maev's Shadowsong and her watchers were on his heels. Illidan outmaneuvered his hunters and plunged into the tomb of Sargeras. He felt forbidden magic stirring in the depths of the ominous tower, along with other things. This was a cursed place, a monument to death and betrayal. Danger lurked in every corner. Gul'dan's memories helped him safely navigate the tomb's winding, waterlogged corridors. He found the Eye of Sargeras not a moment too soon. A number of watchers had closed in around him, but whatever chance they might have had to restrain Illidan was gone. With his sorceress power magnified by the Eye of Sargeras, he was beyond their control. So that sounds like one of the missions where he goes, he works his way through the tomb, maybe it's a dungeon crawling mission, and then they can't beat him because he successfully gets the eye. Of those watchers who confronted Illidan in the tomb, only Maiev survived. Severely wounded, she retreated to the surface and rallied the rest of her watchers. Her brush with death did not frighten her into abandoning her hunt. To the contrary, she was desperate to destroy Illidan as soon as possible. He had slaughtered many of her loyal watchers. Vengeance burned hot in Maev's soul. She dispatched a messenger to Kalimdor, imploring Malfurion Stormrage for aid. No matter what, she would not run again. Maiev and the remaining watchers on the Broken Isles prepared to make a final stand against Illidan. Illidan later emerged from the tomb, though somewhat reluctantly. There was more power he could gain from the structure, but he knew that Maiev was still alive. Something else consumed his attention as well. The Eye of Sargeras was not quite as powerful as he had expected. Even when he channeled his own magic through the artifact, he could not assault the Lich King. The distance was too vast. He needed an additional source of magic to amplify his spell work. Once more he sifted through the knowledge in Gul'dan's memories, and once more he found an answer. In his mind's eye, he saw a glimmering city to the east. Not only was it filled with magic, but it was also constructed on a nexus of potent arcane ley lines. The city's name was Dalaran. Illidan sent Lady Vaj and most of her Naga ahead to scout out Dalaran and its surrounding ley lines in preparation for the attack. The former Night Elf would deal with Maev's Shadowsong himself. As long as she was living, she would be a thorn in his side. It was time to tear out that thorn and crush it beneath his heel once and for all. Illidan and his remaining allies assaulted Maiev and her watchers. The Night Elves were wounded and exhausted. They knew the battle to come would be their last, but they faced it with grim determination. Maev's only desire was that, with her dying breath, she might have the chance to strike down Illidan Stormrage. She would not get her wish. As the battle unfolded, a force of Night Elf sentinels and druids arrived. Leading them were Malfurion Stormrage and Tyrande Whisperwind. When Maev's messenger had reached them with news that Illidan had gathered an army and was seeking out demonic artifacts, they both had been horrified. Tyrande felt personally responsible for Illidan's treachery. She didn't regret releasing him, given the circumstances that had been necessary, but the Illidan she'd known, her friend and confidant from 10,000 years ago, was no more. In his place was something else, a monster little better than those that had invaded Mount Hyjal. The Night Elf reinforcements turned the tide of battle against Illidan, and he escaped to the east, desperate to reach Dalaran. He could have used the Eye of Sargeras against Tyrande and Malfurion, but he could not bring himself to do it. Even though the two Night Elves saw him as a traitor, he still harbored feelings for both of them. Alright, so I feel like that is dense, and it has a lot of levels to unpack. That's probably going to take us a big chunk of the way through. the first campaign. So I imagine we're going to have a bunch of episodes coming up where we see the video game version of all that storyline. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching and for listening. We got another episode in the pipe, 5x5. See you all next time on Lore of Warcraft.